Zantetsuken is not a comeback mechanic. If you have a match where you're just getting bodied or you're not doing well, you'll never get any meter. This is actually a win more mechanic. So this is the opposite of a rage art. Do you know how many Clives I've fought since the release of this character? About 1,000. No one's ever done a Zantetsuken on me. And I've been bending over, pulling down my cute jeans every day, but no one. No one. What's up guys, TheMainManSWE here, hoping you're all doing awesome as always. Hope you're all enjoying Clive as much as I am. I think he's an amazing addition to the game. I'm getting tired of saying that because I get the question a lot on my stream, and I also said it in multiple videos, but I think he's fucking awesome and I can't wait to see him in competitive play. And I think you'll see him in competitive play due to a lot of pro players really like a high degree of like space control and prominence and back 1+2 and back 2, where all of that. He controls the 3D space around him to a degree I think like no other character does in this game. Super cool. But so in this video, I just want to talk a little bit more about Zantetsuken, which is something I touch upon briefly in my beginner's guide to the character, but I believe it needs fleshing out, because it's a very complicated mechanic in my opinion. You can see it as an install, but it really isn't. It's more of like a super attack that you build through meter. It's one of the most complicated meter attacks I've ever seen. Not in execution or what you're going to use it for, but how you build it and the sacrifices you make building it. Basically, you sacrifice a lot of damage in initial rounds to get way more damage at a later state in the match, and hopefully in a crucial opening where you can end the entire match due to a Zantetsuken. Zantetsuken is done by pressing 1+4. I'm starting out now, so I have no meter. You can see the 1 there, and there's no meter at all. So if I press 1+4, it really does nothing, but it's still -15. It is always -15. So 1+4 is basically your super attack. And as you level up that meter, it starts gaining strength, and level 5 is the maximum. That's when you'll do the ultimate Zantetsuken. We can just start off by looking at the different stages. But important to know is that this move is always 22 frames, so it's slower than a rage art. But in many ways, it's similar to a rage art, because it does massive damage, but it also freezes the time. As soon as this connects with the opponent, time freezes. So for example, if there's only 1 second left and you land a Zantetsuken, time freezes and he does the entire cutscene, and then boom, your opponent takes 80 damage. 88 damage if you're in rage. That freezing time aspect is no small detail. You know, you land a low parry and you do Zantetsuken, so it's a very, very powerful attack. Let's look at the versions of it. In level 2, I already have a Zantetsuken. It's going to look like this. And it does 45 damage. Note that it has a lot of reach. But it's a little bit on the slower side at 22 frames. So this can be used as a whiff punish if you don't want to do forward free, which is a very good whiff punish. But in my opinion, you're going to use Zantetsuken to complement your combos, just like you would a rage art. This is where you're going to access Clive's highest damage. It's doing hopefully a big launch, like his 4-4-2 counter hit is most damaging launch, and then you're going to do as big of a combo as possible, and then you're going to end with Zantetsuken, and it's going to be like gigantic damage. It hits harder than a max damage rage art in a combo, so it's very significant damage. But that was level 2, and then all these levels have the same animation. It's just that it adds damage. The ultimate Zantetsuken, which is level 5, this one removes recoverable health. So as I told you, if you do a huge combo and end with Zantetsuken, just like a rage art, it removes all of your opponent's recoverable health. The levels up to 4 do not do that. I can demonstrate this by doing a combo here. You'll see the recoverable health there on Jin. And here I do level 4 Zantetsuken. It's still big damage at level 4, but as you can see, Jin still has grey health. But this brings us to, okay, we have during the match gotten 5 stacks. We have now maximum, and we have ultimate Zantetsuken. And now it gets a new animation, right? And now it will do max damage and remove all of Jin's recoverable health. As you can see, there's no recoverable health. And it does a fuck ton of damage. That was just 100 damage, and I did as bare bones a combo as we can, right? Just to show a little bit of a damage potential of Zantetsuken, we can do something like this. That is 130. We didn't even do an additional wall, which we could do. There's no wall break in this combo. And no recoverable health, so it really hits hard, right? So this, and of course, you can whiff punish with it should you want to. But do remember, it is minus 15 on blocks. A good player might launch punish you for trying this. A lot of people still don't launch this because they're so unaccustomed to the animation. And now I just want to explain to you about the trade-off I mentioned before, that you will actually sacrifice some damage to build this up. And this is because to build our Zantetsuken bar, we actually have to commit to what is known as Odin sword attacks. Odin sword attacks will have a very special like effect trail. You'll see it will be black mixed with red. This signifies an Odin sword attack. Odin sword attacks will build my bar. As you can see, I just gained some bar. This will happen even on block. I am gaining bar. So it's a win if you do an Odin sword attack either on block or on hit. It is still a win for you. You'll note that when I do normal attacks, you see nothing happens to my bar, right? My bar, nothing happens. You have to do Odin sword attacks. And we're gonna go into what all of those attacks are. But at the start of this video, I said that you'll sacrifice some damage in initial rounds just to build the Zantetsuken to do huge damage at a later stage of the match. This is true because Odin sword attacks have some weird rules to them, in that when they connect with the opponent, they will only do chip damage even on hit. We are accustomed to seeing chip damage on block, right? Like this. Very slow. Yeah, there we see chip damage on block, right? But this is the weird thing about Odin sword attacks, is that they only deal chip damage on hit. All of that health is recoverable. So I can actually hit Jin with that 442, but if he then gains momentum on me, it's like he never got hit. He can recover all of that health back. That's a very weak thing about Odin sword attacks. It's just, it's not real damage. They can actually stand to get all of that health back. If it just pop heat and then start going bunga bunga on you. So that's a trade-off you're doing. And you'll also do more trade-offs in that you'll sacrifice some damage on your Hell Sweep, for example, and on your wall combo just to build Zantetsuken bar. So for example, this is the normal Hell Sweep, Torgal, but we might want to do the Oki Sweep instead. This does 6 damage less, but this is an Odin sword attack. So if I commit to this Hell Sweep instead, again, significantly less damage, but I build bar. In my opinion, Zantetsuken is so powerful that you do want to incorporate into your gameplay as much meter building stuff as possible. So me, if I want to Hell Sweep my opponent, because we do a lot of Phoenix Shift mix-ups on our opponents, right? I'll do this sweep. Just to build bar. And in the same way, on the wall, I'll use 2-1+2 as wall combo to build a significant amount of meter. But again, I'm sacrificing damage because you can always do this wall combo 4-1+2, which is the max damage. Unless you can also use Bahamut if the wall allows you, right? That's a lot of damage. So there is quite a sacrifice you're doing here, going for this. But you still get Oki, right? But this to me is a necessary sacrifice just to get access to Zantetsuken as early as possible in the match. It's very, let's just say, fun and effective to use Prominence a lot, because it is pretty fucking dumb. I'm sure it's going to get nerfed. But get accustomed to using Fort for 2 in the neutral due to how much meter this can give you if you place them well. And also note that it only deals recoverable health, but it does deal a chunk. It's safe on block, and it is your most powerful counter hit launcher. It is. Also, a thing that's good is that if you land Phoenix Shift 4, which is the slide, on counter hit, it gives a guaranteed while standing 1-2, which is also an Odin attack. This is also Odin's sword. Again, if you counter hit with the slide, you get some bar. Very good. Very nice to know when you launch someone, you can stand to gain meter. So, down for the 1-2, Phoenix Shift 2-2. If you end with this, we get a lot of bar, right? We get a lot of bar, so that option is always there. And as I showed before, he gets a ton of meter. Maybe you didn't pay attention to it, but the Phoenix Shift Heat Smash, this is an Odin Sword attack. You'll again note that it follows the rules of other Odin Sword stuff. I'm only dealing chip damage. You note that, right? None of this damage is real. I'm only dealing chip damage on hit. But I'm building a lot of bar. This one builds a lot of bar. It will give you 1 bar and 20%. 1 bar and a fifth. That's the most you can stand to gain by landing an Odin Sword attack. It's the Phoenix Shift Heat Smash. But if you know you're gonna get the Floor Blast, you can almost get 2 full meters here by doing this. So if I know there's a Floor Blast now, I'll do this, and now I'm gonna get a bar and 20%. And due to the Floor Blast, I'll go into Phoenix Shift 2-2, and that's almost 2 full bars in one combo. So again, I land a parry, 1+2, and I build bar. So this is the defensive way of building meter, which is really nice to have. If you use all of these options I've shown you now to build meter, you can build meter really quickly. This was actually something I felt about Clive early on when I played him, like, God, it's not viable getting Zantetsuken. It takes too long. Will they have to patch this? But then when I played around the character more, really looked into all of the options you have of building bar, you can very realistically get access to level 5 Zantetsuken in the second round. If you're doing really well. You gotta understand that Zantetsuken is not a comeback mechanic. If you have a match where you're just getting bodied or you're not doing well, you'll never get any meter. This is actually a win more mechanic. This is like, oh, you're already playing well. You are doing well. Here's a Zantetsuken to top it all off. This is a win more mechanic. You have to play well and you are rewarded with Zantetsuken. So this is the opposite of a rage art that you'll get because you got fucked up the ass. Oh, here's a rage art and a condom, right? Did it hurt? Buster. So that's an interesting thing about it, in my opinion. But also, of course, how powerful it is. You saw the damage, right? Do you know how many Clives I fought since the release of this character? About 1,000. No one's ever done a Zantetsuken on me. And I've been bending over, pulling down my cute jeans every day, but no one. No one. So I'm the only one I see throwing out Zantetsuken's. But in my opinion, it's just not a mechanic you want to ignore. It is so strong, and it's so fucking cool. But so yeah, that's what I wanted to say about the Zantetsuken. I hope the concept is clearer. It is a very advanced technique with everything you have to do to build it up. The rules of the Odin sword attacks that work against you quite a bit. But again, necessary sacrifice to, in later stages of a match, threaten the opponent with the strongest attack in the game. So yeah, thanks for listening to me. Have a great day.